Oh my. So how you been today, kid?
Okay. And you?
Uh, Good. Done all right. You ready to do this thing?
Sure, let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's why the hell not? Let's see. Let's use a different logo tonight. Let's go
Hmm.
live. Okay. We are live.
Mm.
Good evening, everyone. It's Thursday night. It's 4 a.m. Listen to me. It's 4 p.m. in Los Angeles. 6 o'clock.
4 p.m. somewhere though.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. It sure the hell
Hmm.
is. It's 7 o'clock in New York, and in New Jersey, it's seven. No, it's 6:55.
6:53. So close enough.
6:53. Close enough. We're close enough.
Hmm.
So anyway, Amelia, what time is it in Florida?
6:54. Almost
There
7
you go.
o'clock.
It's Thursday night, Amelia. What does that mean?
It's actually the dog pound the round table time.
It is indeed. See, we faked everybody out. They were expecting Pitbull to say,
Hmm.
"It's what's the buzz time."
All
Not
right.
tonight.
Nope.
Not tonight. It's the round table. We
Hmm.
are going to do a very different kind of show tonight. First of all, I want to tell everybody it's going to be a shorter show than you're used to. We're
Hmm.
going to about 45 minutes tonight, probably at most 45. We got a lot of stuff
Hmm.
going on here. And so we're going to cut it short tonight. Plus, it's a story that most people know. There are a few things about the story you don't know we might get into tonight, but we are definitely going to revisit tonight's show in the future. I'm already scheduling a part two
Hmm.
of the Georgia Guidestones. And Amelia, some activity as of late with the Guidestones. In July of 22, they were blown up by a radical extremist. Tell everybody a little bit about that. What do you know?
Yeah, we just really actually found out ourselves. We were going to actually do a story about the building of the Guidestones and the how they came about because they're actually known as America Stonehenge, and we were going to get down deep on how they came about, what the languages were, what they meant, and little did we know that they got blown up a few
They
months
sure
later.
hell did.
We were like,
Yeah, they
"What?
did
Wait a
too.
minute." Yeah.
It's funny because we found out, Amelia and I had no idea.
No, we did not
We
know at
found
all.
out from our friend who was on the show, Mike Messier.
Hmm.
And we were talking about something and the Guidestones came up, didn't
Yeah.
they?
Yes, we were actually
And
asking him to be a guest on the show because we were going to do the show
yeah,
with him.
exactly. Yeah, sure. And the Guidestones came up and Mikey said, "Oh, by the way, did you they somebody blew them up?"
Yeah, do you want to do
So,
the story about them blowing up or the story out the history? We're like, what? Wait a minute. What do you mean?
yeah. I was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, back up there, brother."
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah, they somebody put a bomb there
Mhm.
and blew them." I said, I found the footage, okay, and it's
Mhm.
been all over the place. When you see that, Amelia and I have already seen this footage. It's crazy stuff.
Mhm.
Let me give everybody a little heads up. I'm sure everybody knows what the Guidestones are.
Mhm.
If you don't, you've been living under a rock. No pun intended. Um,
Especially if that rock got you, especially this unsteady one on top.
Here's the two questions
Mhm.
that people always have about the Guidestones.
Mhm.
Why were they put up in Elberton, Georgia? Number one. And who paid to put them there? Okay. We found out the answers to both of those questions. But the third question that people ask is also why? Why are they there? And I have the answers to all those questions, Amelia. So let me give everybody a little heads up.
Mhm.
The guy we finally found we can put a name now to the Guidestones. The gentleman who paid for and designed the architect of the Georgia Guidestones, he's a doctor named
Oh, wow.
Dr. Joseph Kirsten from Fort Dodge, Iowa. He is the main perpetrator and architect of the Georgia Guidestones Monument. Now, interestingly enough, Dr. Kirsten is a dentist,
Hmm.
but he is a devout dentist. I should say a devout Christian,
Mm-hmm.
and often did work for free for his patients.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, like there's actually a guy on TikTok that does that too.
Mm-hmm.
There's a dentist on TikTok that does free work if you'll come to him.
Oh, that is really nice.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but you got to fly to Texas because he's in Texas.
Oh,
He's
wow.
in
People in
Dallas,
Texas.
Texas.
Hmm.
Yeah, your neck of the woods, Texas. Um. So here's the thing, though. Since it was first revealed back in 1979, actually
Mm-hmm.
were revealed in 79 and dedicated in 1980. The guy that built them, Dr. Kirsten, we only recently learned his name. Up to that point, actually, up until very recently,
Mm-hmm.
we've only referred to him as R.C. Christian,
Hmm.
because that's the name on the Guidestones, dedicated by R.C. Christian.
Why did he use a different name? Do you know?
Yes, we found that out.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to remain anonymous, but pay homage to the earth and God.
Oh. Hmm.
Here's why he says that he built the Guidestones. It was to create perpetual harmony with Mother Earth. And believe it or not, and I just found this out recently, for years and years, Amelia, I
Mm-hmm.
believed that the Guidestones were some kind of conspiratorial evil.
Yes, a lot
Come
of
to
people have.
find, yeah, but guess what? Surprise, surprise. Found out that they're not evil at all. They were
Mm-hmm.
put there to warn people of what to do in case of a nuclear or horrific disaster.
Wow.
For example, I'll tell you, for example, here you go.
And also I saw that they were written in a lot of different languages too, so a lot of people could
Yeah, something
understand
like
them.
19 different languages
Mm-hmm.
or some crazy number
Yes,
like that.
some of them were English, Spanish, Swahili, Hindi, Hebrew, Arabic, Chinese, and Russian, just to name a few.
Oh, God, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing that's remarkable. Each one of these granite slabs weighed
Mm-hmm.
43,000 pounds.
Whoa! Wow!
Now, if there's 2,000 pounds in a ton,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you're looking at a lot of tonnage of rock here.
Yes.
The languages represented on the four major stones are Arabic,
Mm-hmm.
Chinese, English, Hebrew. Also,
Mm-hmm.
Swahili, Spanish, as you said, Russian,
Mm-hmm.
Hindi, and Hebrew. The engraved messages dealt with four major areas: governance of the establishment of a world government,
Mm-hmm.
population and reproduction control, the environment and mankind's relationship to nature, and spirituality. That
Wow!
doesn't sound evil to me.
It does not at all.
Exactly. So we have to wonder,
Mm-hmm.
where are these people getting this evil incarnation from? And I think I found the answer to that
Mm-hmm.
today. Apparently, some people, Amelia, were trying to make a connection. Now, follow me here because it's a little kooky.
Okay.
Imagine that. It's a little kooky. But then when you talk about conspiracies, they're all kooky anyway.
Yeah. Well, it
Some,
depends on the conspiracy theory what we're talking about, though.
exactly. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. Exactly. So
Mm-hmm.
people are trying to make this crazy connection between the Georgia Guidestones
Mm-hmm.
and, get this, a religious order called the Order of the Rosicrucians.
Hmm.
Now, you've never heard of them. I could tell by the look on your face.
No,
Just
that's like where'd that come from?
Let me tell you who they are.
Mhm.
They are a secret order of the Catholic Church. They're
Mm.
a very select group of people because if someone says to you, Amelia Chapman, my name's Joe Smith, I'm a Rosicrucian,
Mhm.
you can guarantee yourself that he's not. And I'm going to tell you why. Because they'll never introduce themselves to you. They'll never do it.
Like a secret society.
It's so secret they won't even mention it. Yeah.
They're
Yep.
probably the people in the bunkers in the Denver airport.
Well,
You
yeah,
never know.
right. That well, we know. Well, we might revisit that again because that
Yeah.
was there's a lot there.
Mhm.
That's not a bad idea.
Because I
Uh,
still want to find that platform and what was in that. We still
We
didn't go
couldn't
over that
find
one.
it on our photos
No.
anywhere.
Mm-mm.
But it's funny. But you showed me a picture of it.
Yeah,
But yet
but we
it's
couldn't
nowhere.
find it in the air.
Nowhere.
No.
It disappeared or it went on the ground.
Mhm.
Which is hey, it's Denver. It's possible.
Yeah.
Um, here's what they say. We're going to get right into the heart of the matter here, Amelia.
Mhm.
Okay, here's what the Guidestones say. Then we're going to tell everybody why they were built.
Mhm.
Maintain humanity under 500 million people in perpetual balance with nature. Why would you want to do that? Because look at what we're going through right now.
It's frustrating.
Overpopulation in the world, food shortages, water shortages, people dying from some people having too much food and other people not having enough food. The
Exactly.
rich getting fat off the fatted calf, and the poor people dying in the streets. To guide productivity wisely, in other words, human reproduction, to guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. So, and that doesn't sound evil to me.
Mm-mm.
Unite humanity with living new languages. Now, what does that mean? That's the one thing everybody said. What does that mean? Reunite humanity, unite humanity
Mhm.
with living new language. What Amelia, I'm going to ask you that question. You're a pretty
New
intelligent person.
languages.
It
New
says with
languages would
living.
be.
Here's the thing, though,
Mhm.
and this is what gets me because you know I'm all about words and stuff, right? And it says living new languages. So what the hell does that mean?
Is that ci- new civilians from another planet? Could be
I'm not going to rule it out because when it comes to the Guidestones, I guess it's everything's open season. By the way,
new languages to me. That's
there
what that would
is,
mean.
I will tell you what, you're on to something because
Mhm.
there is an astronomical element to this we're going to talk about. There is
Mhm.
an outer space element to the Guidestones that nobody talks
Mm-mm.
about much, but we're going to talk about it. Protect people and nation with fair laws and just courts. What's
Hmm.
that say? It
Yeah.
means get rid of the corruption. This doesn't sound evil to me.
Mm-mm.
It sounds like, hey, that must be a nice world to live in.
Sounds like a new law to a new world.
And that's exactly what it is. Here you go. And we're going to go right into that right now.
Mhm.
Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. In
Mm.
other words, if the United States, let's say I'm the United States and you're Mexico,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
If I have a problem with Mexico, I should come to Mexico and say, I have a problem with you. Let's sit down and work this out.
Mhm.
If we can't work it out, then we go to the world court and say, okay, me and my friend Mexico, we have a problem here. We
Mm.
need your help working it out.
Mhm.
So can you help us? And they would say, yes, of course. Come on in. Let's work this stuff out.
Mhm.
Avoid petty laws and useless officials. Boy, we could use that one right now.
Oh yes, we got a lot
Man,
of those.
here we go. We talk a lot about this next one on our show.
Mhm.
Balance personal rights with social duties.
Mhm.
Prize truth beauty, and love, seeking harmony with the infinite. In other words,
Mm-hmm.
tell the truth, enjoy the beauty, and embrace love.
Mm-hmm.
Seek harmony with the infinite. What's the infinite? Spirit, God.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay? Be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature.
Mm-hmm.
Leave room for nature. It says it twice.
Mm-hmm.
It must be so important to him that he put it on there twice. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature.
Sounds
And
like its own Ten Commandments right there.
it is. And take a
Yeah.
look at that. It's right there.
Yeah.
Remarkable.
It's like the New World's Ten Commandments. Like if something was going to happen, that's going to be
And
that they're going to take that to the New
interesting
World.
that you say that, Amelia, because the
Mm-hmm.
10 Commandments comparison
Mm-hmm.
is perfect because there are exactly 10 of them.
Yeah, it's like they're gonna take that to a new world whenever if this world gets destructed, they're gonna take them. That's why they're so heavy, so they could
Yeah.
take that to the new world.
I want
Like,
to tell everybody a little bit about R.C. Christian, or who we now know as Dr. Joseph Kirsten,
mhm,
and a dental DDS, Doctor of Dental Sciences.
mhm,
Investigators have pieced together and revealed the identity of Dr. Joseph Kirsten from Fort Dodge, Iowa, as the main perpetrator and architect of the Georgia Guidestones Monument. Since it was first revealed, the Georgia Guidestones Monument has been a controversial landmark. It has likely been more trouble to Elberton, Georgia, than a world famous tourist attraction. Well, not so much as you think, because they got a lot of money from that.
yes, they have a lot of people been
Elberton,
wanting to figure this
Georgia,
stuff out.
they had a little bit of trouble when it was first erected, but as
Mhm.
anything, money changes everything,
Yeah,
Amelia.
it does.
It sure the hell does. And they found a way to make money on
Mhm,
the Guidestone. So they embraced it being there.
mhm.
Now, I got a trivia question for you. Maybe you might know the answer to this. Why
Uh-oh.
did they pick Elberton, Georgia?
I guess because of the flat land, probably.
Oh, you're on to it. Go ahead.
Mhm.
You're on to
A
something.
lot
Go
of
ahead.
farmland, maybe. A lot of
It
just.
has to do with the land. Check this
Mhm,
out. You ready for this?
mhm,
I had to find this whether it was true.
mhm.
Elberton, Georgia, is the highest elevation in the United States.
Hmm.
It's the highest elevation in the country. It's on the same level with Mount St. Helens. But
Oh,
guess
wow.
what?
Mhm.
It's all flat land, but it's high up flat land.
Right. Well,
Okay.
I'm glad he didn't choose Florida because there's so much swamp here, it would
I
be
know,
stinking
right?
every
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't pick New Jersey because they'd have been completely fucked over here.
Oh, yeah. Or
Oh,
especially
what a mess.
Tennessee, that would have been the
Shit.
worst.
Crazy.
Tennessee would have been the worst. They'd have been protesting left and right there.
Right?
That's
Many of us know a little
mm,
bit about a mysterious man. Oh, many of us
mhm,
know little about a mysterious man openly using the pseudonym of
mhm,
R.C. Christian. He swept into the Granite Center of Elberton, Georgia in 1979, resulting in the manufacture and erection of the Georgia Guidestones.
mhm,
After this, we knew very little, um, except for the fact that the controversy and precepts etched into the condition etched continue to create controversy. Okay, hold on. The film, okay. Where
mhm.
this is talking about a film about the Guidestones.
Yeah, I saw that they did a film about that.
Yeah, and so we're
Mhm,
going to talk about the film recaps the story nicely, filling in many of the blanks with interviews of locals, businesses who were connected in various ways, uh, interesting ways too, to the
mhm,
mysterious R.C. Christian. That
mhm,
everybody from local law enforcement to bankers
mhm.
to newspaper people to people who still live there today,
Oh,
believe
absolutely,
it or not.
yeah.
Don't forget, a lot of these people that were children at the time, but they're
Mhm.
adults now. 1980 wasn't all that far away.
No, it wasn't.
It was only like 43 years ago.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, people don't understand that. The Georgia Guidestones were only up for 43 years.
Yeah, not
But
very
they
long.
they feel like they've been there forever,
Mhm.
you know? It all culminates when one person claiming to actually know R.C. Christian is allowed a huge reveal without breaking his own trust. And what
Mhm.
the person that was the newspaper guy named Fenley, named G. Fenley in Elberton, Georgia. Okay, so let me tell you what he did. He said he knows who R.C. Christian is. He says he knew R.C. Christian and met him.
Mhm.
G. Fenley, and they don't give his first name, just his first initial.
Yeah, just the initial.
G. Fenley was the guy that was in charge of the bank at the time. He's the guy who literally signed the contracts.
Mhm.
Okay. That's funny though. Look at that. See that
It's like
paper?
this. Yeah.
That's yellow marker, but it looks like my
Mhm.
paper's invisible. See this?
Mhm.
Crazy. It's magic. The magic of video. I love it.
Yeah, I know, right?
So here's what happened. And it's kind of interesting. All these years, the guy never, and he kept his word. He never spoke. He never spoke who R.C. Christian was. But what he did was, smart guy. What he did was he took pieces of paper and
Mhm.
he wrote down certain information that's verifying information, right?
Mhm.
And he gave it to the film producer. The producer checked everything out and went, holy fuck, this guy's not lying. He's telling the truth. He's telling the truth. And guess what? We got R.C. Christian. We know who he is.
Mhm.
And his name is Dr. Joseph Kirsten. He's a dentist from Fort Dodge, Iowa, of all places, a devout Christian who felt a need to preserve his faith, his spirituality, his religious beliefs, his country, nature, and the things that make up our world: law,
Mhm.
government, beauty, love, truth, tenderness, all the things that make up the world. And he set about doing that in about 19 different languages that we
That we
know of.
know of, exactly.
Okay? Because
Mhm.
a lot of the languages on the stone have never been decoded.
Mm-mm.
Because some of them are just unknown. You
Mhm.
imagine that, having a language that nobody could read?
Yeah, I mean, we don't even know if it's from this world even right now. I mean,
And that's a very valid point.
mhm.
You and I are both conspiracy nuts,
Mhm.
and we both love UFOs and stuff like that.
Mhm.
There are cave dwellings right now around the world with drawings and writings on these caves that nobody can decipher
Yeah,
because they don't
even
know what it means.
unidentified people too that we've never even seen before
Yeah.
either. That were
Think about that. Think about it. Folks, listen to what
mhm.
Amelia's saying.
Mhm.
You know, I keep her
Yeah.
around because she's pretty smart cookie and she's a nice woman. And I
Mm.
like her. I'm not just I like her. I love her. You've been with me over a year. Of course I love you.
I know, right? I've been here a long time.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you know what? I'm glad that they did put those cameras up because they did catch somebody when
Oh
they were
yeah. Well,
'cause
wait, and we're gonna see something. You know what,
mhm, and the
Amelia?
reason they did put the cameras up is because back in I think it started in 2008, they defaced them by somebody putting some polyurethane paint
Yeah.
graffiti in the
Didn't they spray paint them too?
yeah, they did the first time, but they didn't put the cameras up then. The second time
Right.
in 2014 is when they put the cameras up after some
Yeah.
lady put something put something, "I am goddess," or something like that. She's put
Yeah,
that in there, and
I
after
remember
that,
that, and I remember people vandalizing it. You're right about that.
in New
They were
World
spray
Order, death
painted it.
to them. Mhm.
Yep. Yeah, people were spraying a New World Order,
Mhm.
Illuminati. They were
Yes.
spraying, curse words on it,
Oh, very bad curse words that you didn't wanna take your kids to
yeah.
go see, yes.
And I would never use them kind of words on this show.
And also things they spray painted, certain things you would not want your kids to see, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Amelia, let's take a
Pictures.
look at some news footage. This
Yes.
is going to tie right into what Amelia was just talking about.
Mhm.
Hoping new video will help them nail down the person responsible for blowing up the Georgia Guidestones. Check it out. The GBI says this video shows the person leaving an explosive device at the structure and then running away. We've circled them for you so you can see that person going in and then running right back out a little bit later. This morning, the Elbert County District Attorney is promising to prosecute whoever caused this drastic scene here, blowing up the Guidestones. The prosecutor says whoever is behind this, they say they're going to catch them for sure. Now, we do understand only one portion was damaged on Wednesday, but they had to demolish the whole thing because of safety.
Things happening right now in eastern Georgia. Investigators are.
You heard the woman just say that they had to destroy the whole thing because
Whole
of
thing.
safety reasons. I
Mhm.
want you to look why. I found something here that
Mhm.
a reporter pointed out. Look at the capstone, the stone
The
on
on the
top,
very
Amelia.
top, yes.
You see how it's split in half?
And, yeah, you can even see how unlevel it is too, right there on the
Yeah, it
top.
sure
Mhm.
is. I want you to take a look at that center column.
Mhm.
Look about 3/4 of the way down. You see the split in the middle of
Yes.
that?
Yeah, I see that right there. Uh-huh.
It was going to fall, so they had to knock it down. Now the Georgia Guidestones are permanently gone forever. Let's watch this.
Working to learn what and who damaged the Georgia Guidestones. So far, we know part of the 42-year-old monument was damaged by some kind of explosive. It's all happening in Elbert County. That's near the South Carolina border. CBS 46's Zach Summers joins us there live. Zach, what's the latest for us?
Tracy, just within the last 15 minutes, the monument was leveled as crews were working the site. Those last three remaining pillars came falling down.
Look at that, Amelia.
Look at that.
Down to the ground.
Within a seconds.
Down to the ground in a matter of seconds. You're absolutely right. It took one act of craziness for some nut job to blow the thing up, and it took a bulldozer 5 seconds to topple it over. Isn't that ridiculous?
That's horrible.
Let's take a look. People don't understand the history over here. You're talking about people trying to erase your history.
And
This
there it
person
is.
blew up our history. Okay, watch.
Guidestones is one of Georgia's most mysterious structures to this day. We don't know the true identity of the group responsible for erecting the granite monolith. Now, some 40 years later, after its inception, the GBI's Special Operations Unit, along with several law enforcement agencies, are sifting through the rubble, looking for clues into who tried to bring it down. 2 hours northeast of Atlanta, near the South Carolina border, an investigation is underway into the partial destruction of the Georgia Guidestones outside the town of Elberton.
There's a lot of hate in this world, but it's not on those blocks.
According to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, a group of people set off an explosive device around 4 Wednesday morning, destroying a large portion of the 19-foot-tall monument.
I know that one of the wings is completely destroyed and is laying on the ground. The other ones probably have been compromised as well, and I know the capstone has been compromised.
Chris Cubis is with the Elberton Granite Association. The group works with the county to preserve the Guidestones, which were unveiled in 1980.
We had visitors come to see that monument from around the world. And now it's been damaged.
Known as the Stonehenge of America, the Guidestones consist of 4 massive granite slabs, each weighing more than 40,000 pounds. Engraved on them, a 10-part message in 12 different languages.
12 different languages that we know of. Okay. Amelia, I want you to look at that center stone. I stopped this for a reason. Remember you heard me say that there's an outer space connection to the Guidestones?
Right.
You see that split in that rock? That
Right, right in the
shapes.
middle, right there. Looks like they took a block out in
Yep.
the middle.
If you're on the ground and you look, that it goes up like this on an angle. You have to be on the ground and you look at that stone, and it goes like this. You look up into the sky, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think it points to? Take a guess.
That right in the middle.
Yep. Where do you think it goes to?
It points to. Let's see. Well, it's gonna point if east, maybe.
No, I'm talking about in space. Where in
Oh.
space do you think it points to? What heavenly body do you think it points to? Take a wild guess.
Okay, let's see. Well, if it's gonna probably point to a planet of some sort, maybe.
You are close. Here's where it points
Maybe
to.
the moon. If it goes a certain way,
Not
maybe a certain.
far off, believe it or not. Not
If
far
it
off.
hits like a certain time at night, maybe like the could be
It points to the
Saturn or
constellation Orion. And here's what happens.
Orion's belt.
Well, yes. And when the moon hits a certain angle,
Mm-hmm.
you can see it on video because it's there.
Mm-hmm.
When the moon hits a certain angle,
Mm-hmm.
a light shines through that crack, and it creates like a giant clock on the ground.
I saw the two when the sun hits it when the
yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about now?
Mhm. Yes.
Yep. That's what
Mhm.
it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many little secret. How I want to say it.
Yes.
Interesting little tidbits about the Guidestones that people
That's
don't know.
Offering
why
a
it's
guide on how to
called,
preserve mankind.
They told us what they wanted to do.
In May, GOP gubernatorial candidate Candace Taylor vowed to demolish the structure if elected, claiming the Guidestones are satanic.
Those kinds of
And I think that nut job did it. I think that crazy woman
I
had somebody
have
do
a
it.
feeling.
Now, folks are looking at us like, what are you talking about? Would a gubernatorial candidate get away with it? Easy, by not getting her hands dirty and hiring some nut job that could use a couple of bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you give somebody some money, they'll do whatever the hell you want them to do.
Oh yeah, money talks.
Yeah, sure the hell does.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing, though. You know, you got to be, I'm laughing. You got to be either completely out of your mind or a religious zealot, or you just got to have a pocket full of money and don't give a shit.
Right.
To pull like something like this off.
Or both. She's both.
Or both. You're right. Yeah, absolutely. Just think about something. What are the odds?
Mm-hmm.
What are the odds that she said this,
and not too long later that happened,
and then it happened, but it happened after she lost?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she got angry because she lost. Yeah, I bet you.
Here's the thing. We got some. Oh, Dirt Digger. Hey, Dirt Digger. That's Carrie, little man there. I say little. I don't know, he's probably 9 feet tall.
Good evening, he says.
How are you, Digger? That's the Dirt Digger, by the way, folks, is married to our very own Carrie Jeffries. She's part of the Big Mouth with Amelia, the Pitbull Chapman. But did we come up? Oh yeah, the Panda Queen, we call her. Okay, that's right.
Right.
Yeah, she's so good. She came here with her own nickname. How about that? So let's take a listen to the rest of this now. It's remarkable.
Statements, they're incendiary, and they can cause people to do things. So, I hate to think that that's what would have done it.
It's the lifeblood of Elberton.
For Elberton's Mayor Daniel Graves, the Guidestones represent the quality and skill the men and women who make up the town's thriving stone industry possess.
For 122 years, we've been making memorials for the entire nation. 2/3 of the memorials in the United States come from Elberton.
He said his community may be heartbroken.
Did you
now
know that, Amelia?
Yeah, I did not know that.
Do you know? I had to look this up.
Yeah.
I really checked this out for real. There are more granite production companies in Elberton, Georgia, than any place in the world.
So that was like
They
the
are
biggest
the
account.
world. Yeah, because their town is built on. It's just like a giant quarry, if you want to think of it that way. Their town is built on a giant slab of granite.
Look at that picture, how you paused it. See how it's leaning like that? That one
Yeah, it
pillar. Look
sure
at
is.
that.
Yeah, it's getting ready to fall.
Look at that. Just
Yeah.
maybe just one little bitty bird maybe accidentally hits it or something, and poof, look at that.
Yeah, I mean, if you hiccup in the wrong direction, that thing's
Yeah.
going down.
They will recover.
The only thing stronger than the granite we stand on top of is the hearts of our
Here's that
community.
slit, Amelia. Look.
Look at that.
Yeah.
And again, the monument, all pillars on the ground tonight, no one injured. We do understand that the Guidestones have been vandalized in the past, but not to this extent. There are cameras in the area. You can bet the GBI will be looking through that footage. They also want to hear from anyone who may have seen anything early this morning or knows anything about the people responsible. For now, live in Elberton, Zach Summers, CBS 46 News.
Wow, that's just
And that
horrible.
report obviously was done before
Mhm.
the other reporter got that video footage. Now, for those of you who didn't see that footage, Amelia and I will explain what we have. It is video footage from a surveillance camera poised at the Guidestones. And the reason they put a surveillance camera there is because some years ago, around 2013 or 14, some vandals spray painted the monument. They put a bunch of dirty words on it. They did all kinds of nasty stuff, right? Not the kind of stuff you want,
You don't want your children to see or talk about.
Exactly. So what they did was they put this, surveillance video camera there, which is a good move.
Oh, yes.
Because it ended up paying for itself. They finally got this person on camera. You see them walking up to the monument. They walk inside the monument. They drop a bag. You see them drop a bag. And then they run away because they know they got to get the hell out of there because this thing's set to blow. Okay. Either it was, here's the thing, Amelia, we never talked about. Was it set to blow or did he blow it up from the car, do you think?
I think he had a remote control.
That's where I'm going with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he already knew what he was doing. He could have been military or with the government somehow. I think he was military person. He had to have been.
What was on them or what they were oh, yeah. Here's the thing, Dirt Digger. Amelia and I just talked about that. We went over some of the codicils on the stones. There are 10 of them. There are 10 commandments, 10 rules to live by, right? Noah.
Yeah, you were right, Moses.
I was right the first time, Moses.
Right, Moses.
I'm getting my Bible stuff screwy right now.
And I'm the one that told you right.
Right? Ain't that something? So
Yeah,
here's the
I
thing.
know,
So
right?
Moses goes up the mountain. He's got these tablets, right? The 10 commandments. Well, they were on granite slabs. Lo and behold, a guy named Dr. Joseph Kirsten, a.k.a. R.C. Christian, he says, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to make mine really, really big. And like they were each one of these, Dirt Digger, check this out. Each one of these slabs was 42,000 pounds, each one. Each one was 19 foot 5 inches high, exactly 19 feet 5 inches. Don't ask me why, but that's what he wanted. That's what R.C. Christian wanted. And they had on there 10 conditions to live by in at least 12 to 19 different languages, and depending on how many you believe, but there's a lot more that they can't even decipher. And now they never will be able to because they're destroyed. So that's what we're talking about. Yeah. But it's a great point he brings up.
Oh yes, absolutely. Because I mean, to me, it's like more simpler, uh, more like people what can understand nowadays. Back then, the I don't know the church and was in the Bible. Kids are like, what does that mean? What's that mean?
Yeah,
It's just easier for people to understand. More common now. It's like what you see in the movies, like when it just show like, here's the future. This is what you should
right.
see now. And I think that's what he was trying to do is to show people what the future is going to be.
I think he was going for that for sure,
Hmm.
for sure.
And to go back to
Um,
the person that bombed, I think he was a military. Has to do something with military because he knew what he was doing.
yeah, somebody knew what they were doing with
Hmm.
explosives.
Hmm.
Because you got to be really, really good building a bomb, or you're going to kill yourself.
Yes. And he
You
had to be
know.
so many feet away from there. But what got me, do you know why he chose that particular spot? Did you ever
Yes.
figure out why?
Yep. Absolutely. Because that would, if blowing it up in that spot
Hmm.
would weaken every other pillar.
Hmm. But I
Because
mean,
that's what they called. That
hmm,
was the central pillar.
oh wow.
Yeah. And you noticed when that went down,
Hmm.
everything else got cracked and damaged, including the capstone on top. Now think about that. That bomb went off on the bottom,
Hmm.
but it was so strong it damaged the capstone.
So
And it damaged
he.
all the other three pillars. There are four pillars.
Hmm.
I'm going to show you something. And I'm going to show you the Rosicrucian connection that I talked about.
Okay.
So you'll understand how these whack jobs really think.
Okay.
Take a look at this. And I'll stop this along the way.
Hmm.
Okay, let's take a look at that. You see that, Amelia?
Hmm.
You see how everything, well, you got two side stones and you got two going this way, right?
Hmm.
Taking out that singular stone, that was the central pillar, right?
Hmm.
When the bomber took that out, look at the damage it did to the others. They're both leaning. The capstone's getting ready to capsize, and the whole thing, if you blow on it, will fall over. Because it was the crucial. It's what they call. There's a name for it. Hold on. There's a. It's like a support beam.
Oh, the support beam. Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Think of it like that. Here you see some of the writings on there, and I read that one that we're looking there is written in English. I read these earlier. Now, the language next to it is Russian. That's Russian right there. And each stone, think about this, Mill. Each stone on each side is written in a different language. And there's at least 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 8, 9, 10. There's at least 12 to 14 sides that we're looking at, including the top.
So something had to have been written probably on top that we don't even know.
Oh, it was. You're going to see it in a minute. I didn't even see before. You see what? That's Hebrew, that language right there.
Wow. Look at that.
Yeah, that's Hebrew.
Little bitty
Yep.
rocks.
Now that's what they used to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Out in that open field over there, you know, with the sun setting in the background. Beautiful picture, right?
Oh, definitely.
This is a picture, Amelia, taken on the day they dedicated the Georgia Guidestones.
Oh, that's a lot of people. They're like, okay, we're gonna come see what this is all about.
And believe it or not, that's pretty much everybody in town. It's a small town.
Wow.
That's pretty much like everybody.
Mm.
There's only about 700 or 800 people in town.
Yeah, that is pretty small
And
town.
most of them came out to the Guidestones that day to see it, dedicated. Small town. All right, now you're looking at the Guidestones as they were before the bomb went off. Okay. If you look at it, it's set up like a cross. You got the two on the side and you got the two that go this way. And then there's a capstone on top that's kind of tilted a little bit. Okay. You're going to see an aerial view of that, I believe, very soon. Oh yeah, we were just talking about this, Amelia. The car, the explosion, the video. You see where the explosion is right there?
Yes.
Look how far it pushed everything out.
Wow, that's like because he had to have been military, knowing what he was doing that big of an explosion. It's
crazy. But whoever is in that car, I think they had a remote control, and I absolutely agree with you. I think they had some kind of military knowledge or training. Well, I thought I had. I guess I was wrong. I thought I had a picture of it from the top.
Because
but imagine
that is weird.
Yeah, but imagine like this. Think of it like a cross with a diamond. Because this is what it looked like. It looked like a diamond and a cross. And where have we seen that before?
Oh my gosh. Let's see, Illuminati.
Exactly. That's it right there. One
And
word.
you know, when you told me that little space right there, it reminded me to being my mind going like this, miles an hour. Maybe there's a key or a disc that you press in there, the ground opens up. If there's a secret,
Right.
There's like a lot of floors you could go down in there, and maybe there's more Illuminati people, more bunkers in there.
Right.
Like you said, because it's flat land.
It is. It's and
maybe
it's,
more people.
and don't forget too. Don't forget too. The most important thing about that location, the whole town, the whole area is built up on a giant granite slab.
Yes.
It's don't forget, it's flat. It's flat, but it's
And not too
high
many
up flat.
people there, so it's pretty much because like nobody people know about that place. So guess what? You can build under there, more room, more
exactly.
buildings,
Exactly.
and that
Exactly
little
what
thing,
we're talking about.
you can put a
Well, I'll
little
tell you what,
key in
Neil.
there.
Let me jump out of here for half a second. Let's do this, okay? Do you have sweaty balls or volleyball netty balls? It's time to make them ready balls. The Manscaped.com Lawnmower 3.0 will do the job and clean your knob with its patented no-nick head, so your head will function as desired. Enter promo code Wrestling Future for a generous 20% discount. That's enter Wrestling Future for a 20% discount. Manscaped.com and Wrestling with the Future, going balls to the walls with Manscaped.com and the Lawnmower 3.0. Your balls will thank you, and so will we. What's Buzz Podcast wants to welcome Radioactive FM 88.6 in Wellington, New Zealand, Radio Perth, Australia, and RTL Radio 102.5 in Milan, Italy. Welcome aboard, and welcome to the Buzz. Amelia, breaking news. This just in from the newsroom. Amelia Chapman is still the pit bull. I had to do that.
I still the pit bull. Okay. No, you know how you were telling me earlier that that little line right there that I was telling you that could have a key, and sometimes when the moon hits it like that, maybe the conspiracy theory that I am, and you are too. I was thinking that maybe when the moon hits it and a certain light or something hits it, maybe it's them telling the extraterrestrials up there, say, okay, it's time for us to have our meeting, come down.
Well, it's funny. I know you're saying that in a joking manner, but there are people who believe that.
Maybe we should do a part 2 to that and find out.
You know what? We really need to, because there's a lot of, I just went over the main stuff tonight. There are, I wish I could show you, but see them pillars, those columns?
Yeah.
I showed you that slit, right? And it goes, it's funny because it looks like this. It looks like a slit that you can look through.
Yeah, exactly.
But it goes up like this, right? Toward the sky. If you look, if you're on the ground and you were to look at the Guidestones, there were holes drilled in at certain spots. And when the moonlight or sunlight would come through them holes, it would create these geometric patterns.
Exactly.
Nobody understands why R.C. Christian had them do that. So he had to have some kind of knowledge of either design or some knowledge of the solar system or some knowledge of how the sun and moon coordinate. I'm not real sure.
Right.
Because I'm not a brainiac like that. I'm not like a physicist.
I mean, it just would, you would think about something like that. And just like they say, how it's our own Stonehenge. Because if you look at the top of Stonehenge, it looks like a landing pad for like a.
Well, and then there are people who've said that too. It's funny.
So, it's weird, but.
It's very, very strange. Well, I'll tell you what, kiddo. I promised everybody a short show, and look at this.
Right?
7:45, and we are going to get out of here tonight because it's been a long week for everybody. We did 3 shows this week, but I feel like I did 5 shows this week.
Right? We're going to have a long one Tuesday, so it's
and oh boy, did we! Yeah, jeez.
We're going to have a long one because we're going to.
That was a good show last night. You and Carrie did a hell of a job last night.
Oh, we sure did.
I want to thank our contributors, Renee Covington, and I want to thank Kookley. I want to find out who Kookley is because love to have her on the show. She was so helpful, so instrumental.
Yes.
That this woman came on last night in our chat room, and she was very brave to say that she has autism, and she was diagnosed 3 years ago. It takes a lot of courage for an adult to say that.
Yes,
and I give her all my respect and all my kudos on that one.
Yes, and if she's listening tonight, please, if you can, if you have set up an email address, please email us at what's the buzz podcast at
Yeah.
gmail.com at
I will tell you
what's
what,
the buzz.
I really was hoping that she would join us tonight, but I didn't see her.
I haven't
Um,
either, but if she is
yeah.
listening, please, email us as soon as you get an email address.
Really
Hopefully
was
we have.
hoping that she would join us tonight. Really did. Well, I'll tell you what, Amelia, what we got going on next week?
Well, I know that you had advised everyone, so I'm going to get to advise everyone tonight that we are going to expose the Rock, the Dwayne Johnson, the Rock, known
Yes.
as the Rock. We got some interesting,
Dwayne
interesting stuff on him.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Not the golden smile is hiding a dirty secret, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep, and
Amelia and I found out some shit on the Rock, and guess what?
and we
You
got
know,
got some good one on that. And on Wednesday night, the 22nd, Carrie and I are going to be doing a show on bipolar disorder.
on the Big Mouth next week. Yes,
Yes.
bipolar disorder. It's what we're doing is Amelia and Carrie are exposing some of the dirty little secrets of the medical business.
Yeah, it's like a 3-part expose. We're going to do it in 3 parts.
Yeah, but because they all tie into each other too.
Yes.
And they're going to do that. They're going to tie everything together.
Mm-hmm.
Last night was autism. Next week is bipolar disorder.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saving the granddaddy for the end of. They're going to do medicine in America, a dirty crisis.
Yes.
How rich people are taken care of and how poor people are getting shafted by the medical profession.
Yes.
It's not right, it's not fair, and it's not godly. So
and then we're going to get a little dirty on the next one. We're kind of get a little bit more a little bit more where I'm going to get into like more of a pit bull
I've
and
actually
angry.
had somebody talking about that too, Amelia. I've actually had somebody say recently, Mad Dog. They never call me Angela, they call me Mad Dog. Mad Dog, you've been talking about God an awful lot in your shows lately. But here's the thing, folks. I will be 64 years old this year in July, okay? I'm not getting any younger. Things are starting to bother me that never bothered me before. And it's confession time for me, okay? I got to get right with God. And that's just the way it is. And so if people are offended by my love of Jesus, then you can go someplace else. Amelia and I don't need you here. And that's it.
But we're going to get we're going to get into another subject on the Big Mouth that we want you and Carrie to be a part of. We're going to talk to you about that. You'll like the subject that we're going to talk,
Oh, well, tell me when we get off the air.
Yeah. And on the 23rd, we're going to be doing a show with Marianne and Walsh and called Beatlemania, your favorite.
Yes, the Beatles. We're going to talk about how the Beatles have impacted pop culture and society.
Yes.
Not just the music business.
No, society and its
these
whole.
2 women are like Beatle crazy. They really
right.
And I am too. Actually, I wrote the foreword to their book. I'll tell you what, Amelia, great show tonight.
Yes.
We definitely, I think we really have to do like maybe another, like a part 2.
Yeah, because I think we'll find out more detail by then of why this happened and who and who, what, where, when, why. Basically, we're going to try to fill in those.
Until next week, for Amelia Pipple Chapman, I am the Mad Dog, Angelo DeCipio. Take care, everybody. Have a safe and good weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.